Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Lowe. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you did something fun. Are you ready to work this week and grow your brains? Good. Well, it's time for Bible. And I've got a really good Bible story today. It's one of my favorites. We're talking about Jesus and the miracles he did. And wait till you hear about this miracle. Well, Jesus had just finished teaching all day long to the crowds of people. And he finally sent them home for dinner, and he told his disciples, get in the boat and row to the other side of the lake. Now, this wasn't just a little lake. This was a big lake. And then he went up to the mountain to pray to God the Father. The Bible doesn't tell us what he talked to him about, but it did tell us that he prayed for a long time. And the whole time he was praying, the disciples were rowing the boat. They got all the way out to the middle of the lake. And then it happened. You know what happened? A storm came. Not just a little storm, a big storm. The winds were blowing, and the waves were rocking the boat. And oh no, water was coming in the boat. And the disciples were like, we're gonna sink. I wish Jesus was here. He could help us. But he wasn't. He was up praying. Do you think Jesus knew what was happening? Of course he did. He knows everything. And so he knew the disciples needed him. And he wasn't going to let anything happen to them. Just like he's not going to let anything happen to you and to me. But he wanted to see if the disciples had faith that he was going to save them. So, all of a sudden, when the waves were coming over the boat and it looked like their little boat was going to sink, Peter looked out over the water and he said, whoa, I see a person walking on the water. Guess who that person was? It was Jesus. Yeah, he was walking on top the water. And Peter said, it's a ghost. And Jesus said, don't be afraid. It's me. And Peter said, what? That's Jesus' voice. But how could Jesus walk on top the water? And then Peter did something really brave, really brave. He said, Jesus, if that's you, tell me to come out on the water and I'll walk to you. And Jesus said, come. And he reached out his hand to Peter. And Peter put one leg over the boat and then the other. And then he stood up on the water. And he didn't even sink. And he started walking toward Jesus. And he said, whoa, I am walking on the water. Oh, look at the waves. Look at the wind. What am I doing? I can't walk on water. And then when he started to believe he couldn't walk on water anymore and he lost his faith, guess what happened to him? He started to sink. And he said, Jesus, save me. And Jesus reached out his hand right away and he pulled him right back out of the water. And Jesus and Peter walked to the boat on the water. And then they got in the boat. And then Jesus spoke to the wind and the waves. Have you ever spoken to wind and waves? I've never spoken to wind and waves, but Jesus did. And you know what he told that wind and waves? He said, be still. And all of a sudden, the storm just stopped. And Jesus said to Peter, why did you lose your faith? Why did you look around and get scared? And you know what? Jesus is still telling you and me that. Don't look around and be scared. Just have faith in me that I'm going to take care of you. Isn't that a great story? I love that story. And now you have a worksheet to do. On the front of the worksheet is Jesus praying to God his Father. Now you can't just color it any color you want. You have to look up here and see what colors you have to use. And you have your pencil box with your crayons and your pencils. You can use either one. And you need to color Jesus praying. And then on the back is the story I just told you. In this first picture, Jesus is speaking to the wind and the waves and saying, "Be still." And in the second picture, Jesus is walking on the water. And there's the disciples in the boat. And in the last picture, the wind and the waves obey Jesus. And everything is still. And you have to color these pictures. But see these little boxes up here? You have to write 1, 2, and 3 in the boxes. You have to put them in order of how the story happened. So what came first? Let's think about it. Jesus telling the storm to be still, did that come first? Or did Jesus walking on the water come first? Or did everything is okay come first? Think about it. Whatever came first, that's where you're going to write your number 1. Whatever came second, that's where you're going to write your number 2. And what came third, that's where you're going to write your number 3. You can do it. I know you can. And I'll see you tomorrow for another Bible story. Bye-bye. I miss you.